What is up, everyone? Welcome back to French Bread's Dark Souls 3 lore run. I am French Bread, or Chris if you prefer. So, here we are, right back in Firelink Shrine, where we left off. And it's time to tie up a few loose ends, like I mentioned at the end of last episode, and then we'll get back into the Profaned Capital. But first, I wanted to turn in the ash we discovered to the shrine handmaid.
Ah, well, how may I be? Gracious, passing fine ash thou'st given. Let Iona.
Yes. Let's see what you got for us. I think that's new. I think the infinite pale pine resin is a result of turning in these ashes. Nothing new from weapons or sorceries or any of that stuff. We did get our Carla's equipments. Carla's pointed hat. Hat of the Dark Witch Carla. A pointed hat is the signature of a heretical sorceress. Carla, however, always kept it close. And Carla's coat. The stained coat is torn and odorous, telling of a long journey and an even longer imprisonment. It would be madness to wear such a thing. We're gonna snatch these items up, because maybe they smell bad, but I think they look pretty cool, so I got no reservations about picking them up for myself for future fashion.
Ashen one.
Well, I guess I should have checked if she sold any more rings, but yeah. Felt pretty confident about that. Are there new arrows? Maybe some of these arrows are new. Let's check them out. Dark arrow. Ritual arrows said to have been used by savage hunters. Inflict dark damage. It is said that these arrows scrape out death from their targets, but savages are known to tell tall tales. What does that mean, scrape out death? Not really sure. Scrape out death. Nope, that just sounds weird to me. We also have the Oni Slayer Great Arrow. Large arrows used to destroy giant horned Oni in an eastern land. Can only be used with great bows. Made from the feathers of an aged crow, it is said that these arrows fly as straight as their master. Perhaps a reference to our old friend the giant crow, who used to ferry undead to the land of Lorerun. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe not.
Ashen.
And we also, if we recall, like I almost did not, we have a coal that needs turning in. And some lore, perhaps, from Andre.
Well met, is good, wasn't he? Now, words. Where did you happen upon this coal? This is much too dark. I see the abyss in it. Yet a smith I remain. I won't turn down a request. But forget not, your fight is for the flame and for your fellow kin, just like mine. A cursed fate this may be, but hope remains, does it not?
Sometimes hope isn't the greatest thing, Andre. But that is fascinating. And this is something I was going to bring up before. Just take any old weapon. But the profaned coal associated with the profaned flame allows us to perform a number of infusions. Specifically the hollow And I believe the Dark, and was it also Chaos? I think those are the three. And the reason why I call that fascinating is that we are desperately trying to understand the nature of the Profaned Flame, because it's, in my opinion at least, key to so many of the mysteries of Dark Souls 3. And Andre says he sees the dark in it. That the Profaned Flame is somehow related to the Abyss. That is something to think about. I'm gonna hold off on talking too much about it now. I think we'll save the bulk of my Profaned Flame speculation for after we beat the area boss of the Profaned Capital. But yeah, that's definitely something we need to keep in mind. Down here, oh goodness gracious, you know what I never noticed? I never noticed all these body-shaped I was gonna call them carvings. They must be, I think they're made of dirt. I think that's what, oh, it looks like little grass tufts. At first I was like, is that hair? I think these are grass tufts. I think these are like bodies made from the earth or from dirt. Or possibly from gunked up bodies. People Hodrick has killed. As some of the stains might imply. But I'd never noticed that before, and that makes this area much creepier. Excellent. Here we have the Sunset Set, which you can find here after you kind of complete that stage of Cirrus's quest where you join her to kill her grandfather, Hodrick. Sunset Helm. Helm of Hodrick, Holy Knight of the Sunless Realms. This light gold helm, named for its sunset hues, is now faded and warped in tainted rags. The sorry fool was known to wander the battlefield as a crazed ghoul, lashing out at friend and foe alike. And I've kind of pointed this out before. Let's go ahead and equip it. I believe I pointed this out before. If not, I meant to. But beyond just being a damn cool helmet, it actually bears has some very strong design similarities to the Abyss Watcher helm. It's not perfect, but they are very similar, which is, ooh, wow, this goes really well with our set, doesn't it? Which is part of why I speculate that Hodrick may have been a Undead Legion hopeful, or perhaps once a member of the Undead Legion before he fell into madness. That's highly speculative, but I do think it may hold some water. Let's see. Does the chess piece have anything else to say? No, it looks like they all have about the same information on them. So that's just a little bit more for us to contemplate when it comes to who exactly Hodrick was. I'm not super sure what caused him to go mad. Maybe he was a member, and this is full-on speculation mode, but maybe he was a member of the Undead Legion, and Maybe he was a member. Sorry. That was that was one of those goofy deaths where like the moment I hit the button, I was like, you know, you probably just killed yourself, Chris. I was distracted. He may have been a member of the Undead Legion, and when the Abyss Watchers specifically linked the fire, perhaps Hodrick was kind of disillusioned or appalled by what happened to Farron Keep in the aftermath. Maybe that drove him mad. Hard to say. The man himself does not offer much in the way of information. These guys do not pose the same threat they once did. Well, we're heading back to the tower now, as you have likely gathered. Just so that we can check up on our old giant buddy. Let's see, I think the last time we activated this lift we went down, so we should, yes, head on up. Ah, man. Good friend, no hit. So this is something I actually had no idea about, and my friend Aiku actually pointed out to me the other day. Said that apparently if you return to visit the old giant on the tower, after certain conditions are met, you will find him having seemingly expired. I guess he speculates that the reason the giant is, or what the not the reason, but what triggers the giant's death is when you collect all the white branches from the 3 white birch trees that exist in the game. I'm not sure. I guess that seems reasonable. But I don't know what the exact trigger is myself. All I know is that we do not have a good track record with giants so far. Let's collect the item, and then I want to talk about something else. Hawk Ring. Ring associated with Hawkeye Goff, one of the 4 Knights of Gwyn, the First Lord. Extends the range of arrows. In his later years, the giant Goff was blinded, but this did not prevent him from striking down a calamitous dragon with his great bow. And that's a direct reference to when we encounter Goff in the DLC. We are able to enlist his help, and he shoots down Calamite for us so that we can fight Calamite on the ground on relatively even terms. I've also heard that if you have this ring equipped, yeah, it certainly seems to be the case, your zoom range with your binoculars increases. If I'm crazy, that does seem to be the case. Which is awesome for all the lore hunters out there. Excuse me while I struggle with the menu. But yeah, interesting thing that I never noticed before. This giant, like all the other giants we encounter in Dark Souls 3, he has all manner of manacles and chains attached to him, and this one in particular actually has the great bow chained to his arm. And I don't know if we can tell. Where does that chain wrap around to? Just to his body himself? I wasn't sure if he was like chained to the tower as well. I guess given the eternal duty to lay down fire on the rebirthing undead of the undead settlement in the Cathedral of the Deep, and also in Farron Keep. Now, let me do something possibly cruel, but I want to test. Okay. He is dead. Just wanted to make sure. I don't know what happened to him. Maybe with the branches all removed, all the saplings from the trees removed, he lost the will to live, perhaps? Sorry, I was just looking to see if we could see the sapling here, but I don't see anything. Maybe he lost the will to live. Maybe somebody finally came and silenced him. Someone less generous than ourselves or Sigurd came and just killed the giant. I'm not 100% sure, and that's something I guess I'll have to ruminate on. But it is a bummer. It's irritating that we can't seem to hold on to any of our allies in this game. But irritating in a very natural Dark Souls way. I don't know why I'm messing around with this lift. Let's head to the last bonfire we rested at, so that we can finally resume our journey into the Profaned Capital. Sorry about the longer than expected interlude, but, you know, it's important to cover these things. Alrighty. Back down the ladder and all that, because last time we were here, I was kind of in a rush. I wanted to activate Sigurd's quest event before I ended the episode, so kind of moved with a great speed. I wonder if these, by the way, I have given these slightly more thought, not as much as I probably should, but I wonder if these were supposed to be implements similar to the Gargoyle Flame Spear and the Gargoyle Flame Hammer, and that they were tools meant to utilize the profane flame. Perhaps those were some sort of profane artillery. And by the way, I think it's interesting that the Profaned Capital obviously had an interest in Logan, but if the Profane Flame is indeed linked to the dark, they are also dabbling in that sort of business. Though which seems sort of weird, but then again, Logan did have sorceries which seem to almost mimic the dark itself, so perhaps not so strange. Perhaps the Profaned Capital, I gotta assume that it was named something other than the Profaned Capital before it was scorched by the Profane Flame, but back on target, I have to assume, or I'm wondering if maybe the sorcerers of the Profaned Capital focused on some of the darker aspects of Logan's sorcery. We're gonna have them coming from both sides. I didn't want to get toxic, but they're not giving us a whole lot of option, are they? Let's ember up so we have just a wee bit more health to work with. So we're gonna head over to the side of this large building first and foremost. So we have something very important to pick up from there. Eat some of that precious moss. Looks like the same door model. We found a Cathedral of the Deep. And what in the hell? Tell me that doesn't look like a Manus hand, except with too many fingers. Oh, all of its limbs have too many fingers. Woohoo! Hand hippos is what some people call these. What their real name might be, I'm sure I couldn't tell you. You can see that. Oh! I don't like it. I didn't want to wake up the other ones. That's why I was kind of fighting in a weird place. Now they all awake. Let's change where we're fighting. Also enchant our great axe. You can see from that little butt slam one of our hand hippos did for us. Oh, that's nonsense. Oh no, please. Did they have I'm sorry, they have a butt slam similar to what? Fuck me. It had to be the one with all the health, didn't it? Yep. We are in Problem Town. I think we're going to die here. Yes. Yes, we are. Oh, fuck. Whoa. So if you get killed by that attack, it just crunches you up all the way. Wow. That's some nightmare fuel. I'll speed up our run back. Alright, we're back, and also tragically out of blooming purple moss. Suppose I should have bought some. Well. Let's see. If I can get here. Yeah, okay. Okay. So, like I was saying before, these things messed me right the hell up. They have some attack patterns that are very similar to the ogres from Dark Souls 2, but they also have that particularly painful grab attack. They are extremely easy to fight. There's only one and you have room to maneuver, but fighting them in multiples is very difficult. Yeah. Bad place to fight. Basically, believe it or not, we want to encourage them to do this rollover attack, because it's actually rather easy to dodge when you have the room. There's no easy way to deal with two of them, though. So you shall have to bear with me as I try to sort this situation out. Sorry. Oh, fuck. That was close. It's gonna roll over. Yeah. It's gotta be nearly dead. One of them. Yeah. Did he just finger flick me? That's the coolest attack they could have possibly had. If that's what happened. Roll over, boy. And to add insult to injury, they drop a bunch of shit. So it goes. Alright, so in here, small, I don't know what to call this, a small side auditorium. You have a bunch of purging stones, tools for getting rid of curse, and off of the first hand hippo we killed, we also received a weapon called the Eleonora, which we will be checking out in just a little bit. But I do want to, I think, emphasize the fact that those creatures, the hands look almost exactly like the hand of Manus, except for the extra fingers. Like they have the weird molar configuration on the palms and tips of their fingers, just like Manus's big old monkey hand did. So, you know, tangential, circumstantial, but I feel like that also draws some connections between the Profaned Flame and the Abyss. I'm beginning to wonder if the Profaned Flame wasn't some sort of attempt to combine the power of flame with the power of the Dark Soul. And what we ended up with was a flame indeed, one that scorched the flesh of the living. Something which, by the way, may be of great interest to Londor. Oh, fun attack, but you're done now. You disgusting creature. Past the pots here, we get the Court Sorcerer armor. And within this mimic, well, we shall see. Court Sorcerer's Staff. So we basically, between Logan's Scroll and the fact that we have all the equipment of the Court Sorcerers, I feel like maybe this particular side area was related to the School of Sorcery in the Profaned Capital. Let us loop around and get onto the roof. There are a couple more things for us to get here. On the ledge, we get some poison arrows. Nothing particularly noteworthy about those. But over here, you roll down. Acquire Wrath of the Gods. Or WOG, as it was popularly known. So that is it for inside of this building, but much to my much to my regret, we still have this side area to check into. And there is no avoiding getting toxined up here. So I think what we're going to do instead is just make sure that we can get through this. That should be two-hand. Just get through this as quickly as possible. Hyper armor. Yeah. Poison gem. Garbage. I'm sure the other item's not going to be fancy either, but no one will be able to say we didn't try. Curse Bite Ring. Well, you know, that's kind of neat, I guess. Odds are, it says the exact same thing that the other bite rings say, just with curse interchanged. But that's fine as well. I am curious, so we're going to check that out real quick. Yep. Same business. Alright. We spent a lot of time wandering around, so I want to actually get down into this more civilized looking part of the Profaned Capital. I don't think we're going to have time for a boss, but I want to at least get up to that point. So if you see over here, we've got what looks to be... Will I be able to see it? I will not. Looks to be a goblet or a chalice of flame being tended to by 4 white-robed jailer-looking individuals. Oh, you're so kind, Mr. Gargoyle. I do know how to fight gargoyles, right? That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassing myself. Let's not complete our embarrassment and kill this guy. Ugh. I don't know what's up with that. I was off my game. Apologies. Alright. This flame is going to continue to harass us. Let's grab this, and instead of crossing the bridge, actually, let's drop down. Grab the Oni Slayer Great Bow. It's like about the same time we got access to the arrows, we get the bow. Fair enough. And once we reach this point, I guess they stop channeling the flame, and they stop, so it stops firing on us. Give us a bit of reprieve. We're gonna backtrack, pick up this item. Whoa, nice. I don't think I've ever let them do that before, but now they've arranged themselves in kind of a defensive formation. These ones, unlike the jailers I think that we encountered above, these jailers are actually female. You can see they are quite apt at using pyromancy. They wield some nasty looking daggers. Which hopefully we'll be lucky enough to get one. You, as far as I know, you cannot get their white set, their white garb, but you can get their dagger. So we'll see. And within countless, just an enormous pile of treasure, laid down on top of countless charred and burned bodies. I do believe we may have a lead on what happened to, or rather, where the bulk of the inhabitants of the Profaned Capital were when the fire was linked and the profane flame was born. That seems to be the order that things are implied to have happened in from what we know so far, but we'll see a little bit more about that shortly. Doing a little bit better with our axe now, aren't we? Still, this is a chilling area, and it actually... This reminds me a lot. This is a thought that just occurred to me, but this area reminds me a lot of New Londo from Dark Souls 1. Specifically, when you drain the water, you saw piles upon piles of sodden, deceased bodies. Presumably got that way when the channelers flooded New Londo to curtail the Dark Wraith threat. And this kind of seems like the opposite in a way, like death kind of came from below, so to speak, for New Londo. Because of their temptation, because of their dalliance with the dark. And in the Profaned Capital's case, death came from above through fire, presumably also due to their interaction with failing to fight gargoyles. Would you quit it with that stupid fucking wing attack? You sorry shit. I am trying to have a discussion on cool-ass lore stuff. Blah. Sorry about that sorry-er performance. But yeah, no. Death from above as opposed to the death from below that New Londo faced, but same sort of cause or reason for their punishment. I say punishment, but it's more like a... I'm sure not everybody was in on this, so maybe... Fuck. Damn it. We'll speed up to get back to here. I'll kill all these silly white robe dudes, and then we'll continue that thought. And we are back. So sorry about the death there. It was kind of unnecessary. I was just rushing it a little. So, right here we have not one, but two mimics. If you're late game and you haven't gotten a Symbol of Avarice yet, this is a pretty decent place to farm for it because you can kind of get... You can throw these at the... my life is hell. You can throw these at the mimics and kind of get two shots at getting the symbol for the price of one talisman. Just a bit more cost and time efficient. Great Shield of Glory. I think we're going to do all our big item roundup on these things after after we deal with the area boss in the next episode. Kind of make a summary of all our suspicions and findings. Booby prize. And one more chest here, which has an ember. So, not that great. But the Great Shield of Glory is very great if you are looking for a solid Great Shield. Or at least it used to be. I don't know if they patched it to Oblivion or something. Deal with one last nuisance. All's taken care of. The only thing left to do now is face the area boss.
Old friend. I, Siegward of the Knights of Katarina, have come to uphold my promise. Let the sun shine upon this Lord of Cinder